time to go to work.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a Let's Play. This is Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine. It is a video game from way back when. A real nostalgia fest for me. A real kind of blast from the past here. This game is it's a bit of a diamond in the rough. Let's put it that way, because it was spawned around about the same time as all of the old traditional Tomb Raiders. Same sort of idea. You've got these massively beautiful and polygonal worlds. And that eagle flying up there. All these hugely polygonal worlds that you have to explore your way around. You can run, you can jump, you can climb on things. You may have noticed a ladder in that opening cutscene. Yes, you can climb ladders. There are blocks to push and pull. There are tombs to explore, traps to avoid, and enemies to kill. Really a truly inspired by the classic Tomb Raiders, as I have said. Just look at the scenery here. This is absolutely beautiful. And like I say, this is a video game straight from my childhood. I'm kind of really sort of fanboying out a little bit. This is huge for me. So it took a while to get going to a point where I could record it. I had to do like 4 or 5 different tests before I could actually get the screen resolution to work and stuff like that. What with this game being so old, we are talking late 90s, early 2000s, I presume. It obviously was not designed for modern day systems. It wasn't even designed for 16:9 widescreen or even HD. But thanks to the good people at GOG.com, we now have a fully functional Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine game that looks absolutely stunning and functions beautifully, and can also be played on modern machines whilst also being recorded, which is absolutely fantastic. And I can't wait to get stuck into it. GOG.com, of course, providing the Lands of Lore 3 game that we played a little while ago as well. Oh, look at it. It is just beautiful. So what's the aim of the game here? Well, we play here as the titular Indiana Jones. One of the main objectives of the game is not to plummet to your death. And you do that by pressing the jump button. So I haven't actually got any games to load other than the start of the chapter. So let's go again! Which means we get to watch this fantastic title card once more. So the aim is to make it to the end of each level. And in this particular level, it's rather frustrating because you see us walk in from the bottom here at the start of the level. That part where we walk in from is also the end of the level, which is rather frustrating because in this game you can't actually just jump up like these slopes right here. Can't roll your way up because you fall through them just like that. I'm sure if we keep on going we might be able to just break our way through there, but that's neither here nor there. So we need to make it to the end of each level, which is fairly self-explanatory. Throughout the level we can find up to 10 treasures worth monetary value, which we can use to spend in the shop between levels to gain us some extra supplies and health kits and things like that throughout our mission. So the plot of the game at the moment is fairly non-existent. This level is just an establishing level, a kind of tutorial so that you can get used to the thing. That's where we need to be over there. That's the end of the level right there. The trajectory for this level is we first of all need to make it down to the canyon floor without dying and pick up that little thing just down there that glints every so often. There you go, right there. We need to go and pick that up. And then once we've made it to the canyon floor and recovered that, we then need to work our way back up the canyon over to where we started from. But enough rambling and wobbling. Let's actually crack on with that, because this is the first level and it shouldn't take too long for us to complete. Certainly shouldn't have died on it. Once we complete this level, more of the plot shall be revealed. I'm not quite sure on the structure of this Let's Play. Initially I was thinking of just doing one level per video, because in theory that should be good enough. However, some of the levels later on do get phenomenally long, so that might have to be subject to terms and conditions. These first few levels shouldn't take too long, shouldn't take much longer than 20 minutes. This first one might do, just because of all the preamble and the context and stuff I was trying to give you, and of course that embarrassing first death. But the next couple of levels shouldn't take too much longer than 20 minutes, and the later ones do get a bit more complicated and will end up taking considerably longer. Let's try and do this without death this time. He's done it. Good job, Indiana Jones. So we have a variety of tools at our disposal.
The thing looks whippable.
The thing looks whippable. Coming up with the cool whip way before Stewie Griffin could come up with the cool whip quip. So first of all, we have our whip here. This can be used as a weapon to disarm soldiers and things like that. It can also be used to latch onto things in the sky and climb up them, and of course to swing across ravines. And there's a nice little touch that this game has added in. Oh, I thought there was a treasure in here. Never mind. This game has a nice little touch added in for when you swing across a ravine, which we will be able to see very shortly, and I think it is so cool. It's not something that you see in games that often anymore. Just like little nods and like little kind of bits of trivia here and there. So we have our first enemy, is that little hissing snake right there. We have our revolver, which we can use to dispose of him nicely, just like that. Better guns do become available to us as we progress throughout the game. Here's that treasure.
What's this?
Now, as I said, this is a bit of a gem from my childhood. I have played it quite a lot. I don't think I have ever played it through start to finish and beaten it, so there will be a little bit of learning involved. I would always just kind of hijack my dad's save files and kind of play through those. So there will be a bit of learning involved along the way. However, for these early levels, certainly, I do feel like I know them relatively well, so we should just be able to breeze through quite nicely. Okay, here we go. Time to whip across the ravine. When we can do so, he will adopt this position. And brace yourself, because I think this bit is really cool and almost inspirational. Gah, just the little Indiana Jones jingle there. I think this game is phenomenally well done. Yes, it's old. Yes, you know what, maybe it hasn't aged so well. Maybe some of the mechanics will be a little bit outdated, but you know what? The attention to detail is superb. The little jingle as you swing across a ravine to make you feel determined and triumphant. Such a nice little touch. Indiana Jones's voice work in this is sensational. If you actually listen to him speak, you would almost be forgiven for thinking that it was actually Harrison Ford that was voicing him, when it's not. I can't remember the name of the voice actor, but I'm sure that we will find out once we get to the credits. And that just brings us back up to the top here where that ravine was. I'm just gonna I'm calling it a ravine. It wasn't really a ravine. There are far bigger ravines for us to cross than this as the journey goes on, but we'll come on to those a little bit later. Let's go back to where we're supposed to be now, which is not down here, believe it or not. That's a slight blunder on my part, but it's okay, because as that timber that was sticking out fell, it brought some of the rocks down, which means that we can just climb our way back up here. We could just take the ladder down, I suppose, but why do that when we can just drop downwards? So we can't swim that way because of a waterfall, which is pushing us over this way, so we'll just have to fall down this second one. Dainty and delicate. Absolutely sensational. How do I dive? There we go. It's the duck button. So I'm going to try and obtain as many of these treasures as possible, because, like I said earlier, you do get money at the end of each level for these, and you can use that money to purchase extra supplies and stuff, which will come in handy later on. I'm not the best video gamer, as long-time viewers will know. I do tend to make the odd mistake or two, and so extra health kits and that along the way will certainly be very useful to us. Now, there's some coins down there, I believe. We can go and grab those. This roll is very useful because it allows you to cover a pretty decent amount of distance very quickly, and it's also very good for negating fall damage. Believe it or not, if you just run off of a ledge and fall a great distance, you'll take damage, but the roll can actually help to try and negate some of that. So we might be relying on that a little while. At this point, I would like to talk to you about a memory I have of this level, and we're probably going to end up doing this quite a lot throughout this game. We're going to get to random parts of the game, and I'm going to go, oh, I remember when I did this when I was a kid. And when I was a kid, I obviously didn't really know how to properly play this game. So when I found this part, I have a particularly strong memory in here of discovering the chalk key. If we press K, Indiana Jones does a little doodle on the wall. In this case, we have an alien. And these doodles are basically so that in some of the later levels and things like that, when they tend to get a bit more maze-like, you can remember where it is you've been. You see a little chalk marking on the wall, you go, ah, I've already been that way, better try another way. And the reason why I bring this up is because some of these chalk drawings are actually pretty cool. They're like little nods and Easter eggs to other LucasArts games and George Lucas properties. So, I mean, I don't think that alien drawing is for anything in particular, but I think there's a few different ones. Let's do some scraping on the wall here. What have we got? That's a big one. We got a cartoony Indiana Jones there. On this one now, we have a star, just a regular old star. And I spent ages doing this. We have an Eye of Horus right there. Our adventure does take us to Egypt, so that's quite appropriate. Indy was here. See, it's these kinds of things that are missing from video games nowadays, in my opinion. It's just like little nods and stuff. Little cool little Easter eggs like that, rather than really kind of obvious ones. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? This is back to where we were, I think. At the top of the waterfall. I was sure that there was some treasure up here, otherwise I would not have wasted my time climbing all the ladders and stuff. Never mind, let's use this as an opportunity to attempt to demonstrate some of the damage negation effects of the roll. So we can go down this way. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was wrong. It can happen, okay? It can happen. I think you need to like land on a slope or something, or it's still very finicky about the kinds of damage you can... Whatever. I'm sure at some point... I'm sure at some point we will be able to demonstrate the fact that you can do a roll and negate some damage. If you'll pardon me for a moment as I climb down the ladder, I'm just going to hydrate quickly. It's very warm here in the UK at the moment. It is the end of August. The 29th, I think, is where we're at now. I'm just going to jump off there for now. Yeah, I believe it's the 29th of August. And here in the UK, we were all ready for summer to be done. We were like, okay, good job. Thanks for the mild amount of heat. Apart from that absolutely blistering hot week we had. Thank you for that. We're ready to move on to winter now. And for a while, the climate was like, sure thing. And then all of a sudden, randomly, it was another 33-degree day and everyone started melting again. So we're still coming off the tail end of that. Hopefully, by September, in a few days, we will actually cool down a bit.
Funny how I didn't spot this before. If this is the prize, I'll lose my grant for sure. Where are the priceless artifacts? The gilded idols? The crowns of kings? Good news never travels that fast. Better get up there.
Better get up there indeed. Check out the top quality facial animation, by the way. I know you were. It's absolutely stunning. Indicative of the time, obviously. The old Tomb Raiders, you might remember, especially in Tomb Raider 2, rather than moving their mouths to talk, they just bobbed their heads up and down. Oh, it's a classic. Classic animation technique of the time. What I do enjoy about this game, and I'm not sure if we're actually going to get the chance for you to experience it, is I love the dialogue for the game. It's so ingrained in my memory. Like the part where Indiana Jones is a poet and he doesn't even know it, in that little bit of spiel he just had there. Funny how I didn't spot this before. If this is the prize, I'll lose my grant for sure. It's brilliant. It's so ingrained in my memory. We have a lighter as well so that we can see in the dark. Wonderful. We'll put that away. Can't crawl with our lighter out, because obviously. But there's so many bits of dialogue and stuff, and we'll move on to a full in-depth discussion about the video game dialogue. Don't you worry about that. Which I know as a sentence probably fills you all with untold excitement, but we will get there. All sorts of bits and bobs are just kind of stuck in my memory that'll no doubt eventually resurface. You know, in the next level, you will find out that the first thing Indy says when he comes into the start of the next level is, "Babylon, a lot of mud brick and not much else. Why would the Russians want to dig it up?" And it's a thank you, Postman. It's a proven point. I'll try and remember to cut the videos together. Oh, of course, the postman arriving signals the dog barking next door. Yes, forgot about that. Never mind. He'll. I believe that next door in actually. So hopefully he should calm down. If he doesn't, then I guess I'll just have to talk louder and more non-stoply than I. Is there a better word than non-stoply? Probably. Oh, I don't want to whip the snake. Okay, we need to shoot him very quick. Ah, one shot does the job. That's the way we like it. We are pretty much done with this level now. We just need to climb this ladder and grab our last piece of treasure. Here he is. What have we here indeed? Roll back downwards. Perfect, almost. Let's see. So we should have 10 treasures. We do. We got the full house for this level. That is fantastic. And here we are back at the top of the canyon where we were supposed to be, where that helicopter has landed. Let's just hike ourselves up and see what's going down.
Oh no. What now? Sophia Hapgood.
Hello, Indy. Been a while.
I'll say. What brings you out west? Some psychic premonition about the treasures I should have found?
My, look at these wonderful potsherds.
It's the new thinking in archaeology. Find some worthless debris, analyze it, understand prehistory. Kind of noble, don't you think?
There's an iron curtain coming down on Europe, Indy. The Russians are taking over.
I read the papers.
Want a real chance to be noble? We need your help.
Uh-huh. Who's we?
When I joined during the war, it was the OSS. Now President Truman calls us the Central Intelligence Agency.
Is that what you're up to these days? Soviet sabotage? Atomic secrets?
Don't be silly. We've got whole battalions for that. It's my job to worry about more, unusual activity. Such as this dig site on the Euphrates River, south of Baghdad.
Babylon.
Remember your Bible? That's where mortals raised the Tower of Babel to invade heaven.
Well, you know, this does look like the ruins of Etemenanki. The ziggurat often identified with the tower.
Very good, Dr. Jones. You're looking at the brainchild of one Gennady Volodnikov of the Leningrad Physics Institute. He thinks there's some truth to the biblical legend.
Isn't he a godless communist?
He's a physicist who studies manifolds and hyperspace. Quirky theoretical stuff.
Now, what's a guy like that doing in Babylon?
Not sure. All we really know is he thinks the atom bomb is a joke.
Then why isn't the world laughing?
Indy, suppose the tower housed some deadly force no one else had ever heard of. Something as dangerous as nuclear fission.
And the Babylonians tore it down for reasons not discussed in the good book.
Exactly.
It's an amusing theory, but as you can see, I've got troubles of my own.
You don't think I flew out here from Washington just to relieve your boredom, I hope? This came from the Russian dig site.
Somebody made a mistake. This looks like part of a steam engine. Maybe a locomotive from the last century.
There's no mistake. We've dated the thing. It's 2,600 years old.
Really? Look at that little wheel spin. How'd you find it?
Come on, Indy, we're the CIA. We have spies.
And that concludes the first level. You might notice the framing is a little bit off. Like I said earlier, that's just an artifact of the fact that this game was not designed for 16:9 widescreen. so it's kind of all misproportioned here and there. But there's not much that can be done about that. You even notice the skybox tearing just over there as the as the helicopter flies off. Awesome! Chapter completed. Took us 16 minutes, 10 treasures found. Cool. We get an IQ score at the end of each chapter as well. That gets totted up, and then at the end, the higher the number, the better we did at the game, which is certainly good to know. Next time we will be heading off to Babylon for level 2. We'll discuss a little bit more about the plot and what's going on, and you will be able to hear the piece of dialogue I mentioned about why the Russians would want to dig up Babylon, which is a whole lot of mud brick and not much else. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please do feel free to leave a thumbs up and a comment down below letting me know what you thought. And if you really enjoyed it, maybe you'd consider hitting that subscribe button and sharing it with your friends. Thank you very much for watching. I shall see you next time. Take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Bonus clip. Here is the shop. So if we want to, we can buy some first aid kits right here. We can buy some poison kits, i.e. buy some poison kits to stop us from succumbing to venomous animals. The secret map, which we can't buy just yet, and we won't buy because we can also get that by completing the game. Medicinal herbs and medicinal sprigs also heal us as well. For right now, I think we'll be okay. We don't need to purchase anything. Alright, this time, for real, I'll see you next time.